Thank you everybody for joining. This is the Klaus Quality for Professionals webinar. And in this webinar, we're going to talk about the new professional plan features that we've been very busy developing over the previous months and that are now available in the professional and advanced plans. And I'm joined today by our Empress of Product, Valentina, that a lot of you will know already. And I am also joined by our CEO, Martin Cueva, who is going to give us a short introduction, just a few words before we jump into the product side of things. So over to you.
Yes, thank you, Chris. Welcome everybody to my living room. And I just wanted to kind of frame this conversation a little bit because the features that we're going to be talking about this time around are somewhat more special because they are a part of our new professional plan. And they are some of the most sophisticated, complicated, clever features that we've ever released. So it's a lot about automation. It's a lot about doing orders of magnitude more, saving orders of magnitude in time. So it's a lot of data science enabled stuff done by our resident group of PhDs. So really exciting stuff. But the most important thing to note, I think, is that if you're an existing customer and you're not on the professional plan, then until the end of the year, you can try it out for free, no strings attached. And if you are already interested, then you can actually go in the settings and just upgrade to professional. You will know that it's going to be free until the end of the year. And even if you forget to downgrade, you know where to find us. Like, we're not going to charge anybody for anything that they don't actually want to be paying for. And the bottom line is that you will see what is included in those in that plan, and you will be able to then make your decision until the end of the year. So I highly encourage everybody to just go and check it out. We will, of course, take any questions that you have during the rest of 2021. And without further ado, I will hand it over to Chris and Valentina, who will walk you through these features, and hope you will find it all interesting.
Yep, thank you, Martin. I just mentioned in the chat there on the side, if you have any questions, just post them there. We'll have a Q&A session at the end. There will also be the opportunity to chat with us via our live chat or to book follow-up calls as well after the webinar. So there'll be an email sent out to you to show you how you can upgrade to professional for the free trial, and also to book calls with us if you wish. So let's get on with it, I guess. I'll share my screen, and Valentina will start by talking about the sentiment analysis filter and the complexity filter.
Exactly. So both sentiment and complexity filters are the children, offsprings, inventions of our data team, which means that they went through a lot of data analysis before they actually come up. So if we look at the sentiment filter first, so what is a sentiment filter? So sentiment, it's in the box. What stands on the box is we are talking here about feelings, and we are actually running all the conversations through a natural language processing model. And currently this works in English because we are actually looking, well, not we, the system is looking at the words and is then assessing whether a message is positive or negative in sentiment. Like, was the customer happy or was the customer angry or sad or had a negative sentiment? And this is interesting because sentiment is very highly correlative with CSAT. So by actively looking at negative sentiment messages, you can actually realize, okay, these are the kind of messages that most likely will get a negative CSAT. Or by looking at the positive examples, you can actually create a framework for, okay, what works really well with agents, with our customers. So here we have an example. It's very easy to spot the sentiment we have put a little emoji. So here you see Harry. I'm trying to log in with my account, but it's not working. It was working last night, and this is clearly a negative message, so you get the negative emoji. You can filter, like you can get to these messages in your conversations filters, like while I was talking, Chris basically did that to filter for the negative sentiments, or we will later down the line also find a different way on how you can get into these messages and actually put them into context. But that's the sentiment filter. So to remember, it is how is the customer feeling based on how they express themselves. Works in English, but we're going to add more languages next year. Correlates highly with CSAT. So even if the message doesn't have a CSAT, by the sentiment, you can probably infer what the CSAT would have been. And this is based on natural language processing. And there we have a positive sentiment example. Okay, and then we're going to the complexity filter. This is actually a mix between a filter and a sorting option. So you can use this on top of any filter. So here, if we have the last 30 days, you can go to the sorting options, and there you will have a hat, which is the complexity filter. What does the complexity filter do? Again, we are going to run. This is a filter that doesn't just switch on, but you tell us when you subscribe to the professional plan, we're going to take your data and run it through a model, and it will analyze based on the metadata, which are the complex conversations that are happening in this account. This means this is basically a custom result just for you based on your data. We take into account the reply length, the number of replies. We run it through a multi-level statistical analysis to find with the communication metadata, which is very interesting because it means that it works for all languages, not just English. And then we will serve you the 15% of the most complex messages. No, messages, not conversations. So you get only the 15% that are most complex. This is especially interesting because short one answer problems, you don't want to necessarily review them. You probably want to look into the edge cases, into the cases where something went wrong, where something took a long time to resolve, and the complexity filter is the way that you can do that. And you can find it, if you can use it with any filter that you already have, simply then sort by complexity. Sometimes you might not get a result simply because the filter that you've used doesn't have any complex conversations, which can happen. That is just this filter, you have basically narrowed it down a little bit too much. In that case, just use another sorting option, newest or oldest or random, and then you'll see the tickets again. So they're not gone, they're just not shown if you're using this complexity sorting option. Yeah, that's it on complexity filter. So I'm giving it back to Chris, who's going to introduce you to assignments.
Yep. Thank you, Valentina. I see that a lot of you are asking questions, and we'll go back to those once we've gone through all of the features. We'll have time for those. Assignments feature, that's the review assignments feature, is something that I'm very excited about, that a lot of people ask for, and something which is really, really going to save a lot of time and effort, I believe, in terms of signing and workload balancing the amount of tickets that are being done reviewed per agent. So I'll show you how to set one of these up. It's pretty straightforward, but if you go to your users and workspaces settings, you choose your workspace and you go to assignments here, you can create two types of assignments. So some of you might know that we've already had the peer review assignments, which allows agents to review each other. But we've now enabled assignments for everybody. So managers can review agents as well. So you can create an assignment. You can choose the cycle length. Is it weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly? You can make it recurring, which I guess most people would want. You can choose the participants. And here you can either set as peer review. So that's when you want people reviewing each other, like on the same level, peer reviews, or you can uncheck that and then you can have reviewers reviewing reviewees. So you can choose who should be reviewing and then who that person should be reviewing as well. So you can choose the agents they should review. You can also choose how many tickets they should review per week. So let's say 5, 10, 15, either total or per reviewee. You can add conditions as well, so that only certain types of tickets are assigned. So it's always tickets created within a certain time period. You have to choose that, and then you can choose these options. So you could decide, I only want to see tickets from a certain channel of a certain status, or from a certain reply count. So tickets that have more than 5 replies. And then you give it a name. So you can call it weekly assignment. And there you go. You add your assignment. And then every week, those reviewers are going to be assigned automatically tickets to review. So they'd no longer, before you had to go and either tag or mention somebody in a ticket you wanted them to review. And then they had to go there and find a filter and look through them, or they had to go looking themselves. They had to go fishing in the general queue to find tickets. Now, all they have to do is go directly here to assignments, and every week they'll see the right amount of tickets to review, and they go through them. And when it's done, it tells them, well done, you've finished your assignment, and that's it. And it looks exactly the same as it already does to review a ticket. It's the same as this screen. But then when it's done, and they'll get a nice congratulations message, and then next week they'll get a new assignment. And that's it for assignments. Next up, we will talk about pins, coaching pins, which Valentina is going to talk about. Valentina?
Sorry, I was muted.
Oh.
Classical. I should know by now how this works. But anyway, so pins is a great way to write down notes to yourself or to another team lead about specific people that you don't necessarily want to write down in the ticket. Let's say, do we have a ticket? Can you find a ticket by Oliver? Or a ticket where Oliver is involved.
Mm-hmm. Just go back to last 30 days. Let's say newest, and we'll look at Oliver.
So let's say Oliver is on my team, and I'm doing my general reviews. And then I realize, okay, Oliver is kind of always doing the same error here, and we have already talked about this, and I don't just want to note it as a feedback on the ticket, because I remember that this is something that I want to look into a little bit deeper, so I can pin this ticket. And to do this, there's this little pin icon up in the right corner. So I'm going to pin the conversation and write a little note to myself. Let's pin it under Oliver, because we're going to talk about Oliver, and then write down review next meeting or something. And then we pin the conversation. Perfect. And then I go across I know that this is now somewhere safe, so I can go on with my day. And then a week later, I'm looking at the dashboard. And on that dashboard, while I'm reviewing data, I look at something, for example, on the internal quality score, and I'm going to pin this, not because it's referring to Oliver, but rather because I definitely want to talk with him about this specific card. So let's just pin this card. Exactly. And then we can go to the pins folder once this is ready. Yep, and there we have so now this is like 5 minutes before my meeting with Oliver. So I go into my pin folder, and there I have all the different pins that I created for Oliver, but also that other quality reviewers created about Oliver and tagged me in. And that way I can now actually be ready for that one-on-one and go through all the different things. And now it's going back to Chris, who's going to talk about root causes, if I remember correctly.
Quizzes first. We'll have a look at quizzes first. Yeah. While we're on coaching and learning features, which are new to Klaus, we have quizzes, which we released only a few weeks ago. And this basically allows you as admins or managers to create quizzes on specific topics for your agents to take. They can take those quizzes, learn from them. You can see their scores, how they perform, and you can see a leaderboard as well of all the agents, how many quizzes they've taken, what their average score was. And I've created this nice quiz here about kitties, about cats. So you can see if you just want to learn, if you just at this webinar to learn some things about cats, then you can see that a cat was the mayor of Alaska, of a town in Alaska. Isaac Newton invented cat doors. The average speed of a cat is 30 miles per hour, and the world's oldest cat lived until 38. So you
I
definitely
knew
learned
that
something on
it's
this call.
20 miles per hour. I just want this to be on record. I knew it's 20 miles per hour, but I thought they were talking in kilometers, and that's why I marked 30.
Yeah. Sorry, the British American influence here. Yeah, so here you can see, I can see that this is the overview. How many people, you can see how many people said Alaska, how many people got it right, how many people got it wrong. You can also see the average score of the quiz, and you can see individual scores. So the only person that's taken my quiz so far is Valentina. I can see what she scored and what she answered here, like this. And yep, you can assign these quizzes basically by dropping the link into comment section or into pins or anywhere else, and then agents can come here to quizzes to take the link, take the quiz, see their scores, and then you can see their scores on the leaderboard as well. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward, but a super useful new tool that we have. And
I can
go ahead.
really recommend using the quizzes. I mean, cat quizzes are great, but whenever you change a process or whenever there is something that new that you expect the agents to do, have them do the training and then assign the quiz 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later, just to check for the knowledge retention. And then you can get like a good feeling of whether you maybe need to repeat the training, or maybe do you like that you need to do something else, or whether, well, looks like everybody really got what they needed to do.
Absolutely. All right, and then I will talk about root causes, which we've already had for a while. So many of you may already be familiar, may have already been using this, but this is one of my favorite features in Klaus, and I wish I had this years ago when I was doing QA with spreadsheets. So before with Klaus, you could give scores here, couldn't you? You could say thumbs up for solution, but tone wasn't so great. So you gave a negative review for a negative score for tone, and then you had to write here why. But now with root causes, what you can do is prompt your reviewers or yourself to give extra reasons why they gave a negative rating for something. So if I give a low score for tone or for grammar, let's say grammar, if I give a low score for grammar, it asks me why. So I've got these options that I created myself. So the agent used the wrong there, and there, the wrong your, or they spelled cat wrong. So I'm going to say, okay, they used the wrong there, and there, which is very common. And what this allows you to do basically is to provide extra information to the agent under the specific category. And most importantly, it tells you a bit more about where your agents are going wrong and makes it easier to pinpoint the problem and fix it. So if you see that in a month, one agent had 25 negative ratings for grammar, you can go into the dashboard and you can look at root causes and look at what the root cause of that negative feedback is. So they didn't just get 25 grammar ratings, they actually got 25, but they got 22 negative ratings for that specific problem there, and there. So if you fix that one problem, then the next month they're going to get 2 or 3. And make way less mistakes. So the way you do that is in here, you can look at your scores by category table in the dashboard, and you can choose one of the categories. So grammar, for example, you can click on this and it will take you to this table, which shows for this selection of agents, what they scored day by day or week by week, and how many times each root cause came up. So here you see wrong there, and there. On October 28th, one of those root causes came up. And if you click on that, you can also see which agent got that root cause given to them, and in general as well, and over the different days. So this allows you to really pinpoint the problem, fix problems much easier. And then we'll move on to the last part, which is the really exciting feature for people who like big, colorful charts and numbers. It scares me a little bit looking at it, so many colors and data. And when you dive into this, you'll understand that it's really helpful. So Valentina's going to talk to us a little bit about that.
You're not the only one who's scared. I have lots of notes on these, but they are amazing. And like the more you use them, the more you will fall in love with them. So basically, these are called sunburst charts. I know they look like pie charts, but these are pie charts on steroids, and hence they're called sunbursts. And we have 2 suns because that's better than one star. So there you have 2 two different charts here. One is only focusing on conversations, which is basically analyzing what happened. And the other one is based on agents, which is basically who happened, basically who was involved when this has happened in our organization. You'll see that there are different layers. And can you scroll down a little bit, Chris, just so that that everybody can see? Yeah, exactly. So here under the conversations chart, you'll see that there are different levels where you can dissect your data. Now, what we have done with the data, so here it says 286 conversations. This is not the same that you will see in your help desk, because we have some assumptions here. One assumption is you want to review tickets where an agent actually did something. And you want to see conversations that are closed. So Sunbursts have only closed conversations. We have removed tickets where there are no messages from customers, like tickets that were maybe just a system update, etc. We have removed all the tickets where there is no public message from an agent. These are often spam tickets. We have removed the tickets that are only from bots, because there's nothing for you to review. And we have removed tickets where agents have maybe made an internal note because closed because of whatever, but where there was no active intervention from a human from your side with this ticket. And then that's 286 tickets that are then left on this account. And on bigger account, of course, that might be 30,000 or 100,000 or 1 million or 5, depends on how many tickets you have in general. And we've also removed the tickets where we cannot detect the language. That means tickets that are only gibberish or tickets that only involve symbols. So once we have put all the crap out of it, we are then dividing the tickets with these different layers. You can, for example, can you unclick everything but connections here underneath? So you can basically activate and deactivate all the levels as you wish to look at them. So if we only look at connections, then here you will see this account has 2 different channels or 2 different connections where tickets are coming in. And you see that about, what would that be? 1/3 is coming in from one source and the other is coming in from the other connection. So one is AirCall and the other one is intercom. And now if we add another level to it, let's see, let's put complexity in. No, review status. Because I'm not taking complexity here, because I know that AirCall is voice and we don't have the complexity filter or the sentiment filter on voice messages because there is no written language to analyze. But here we can see which actually from these channels were reviewed and which were not reviewed. So again, I see that about 1/3 are reviewed on AirCall and 2/3 are not reviewed. And I can see that in the other channel, this is also approximately similar. Now, this is an account, and you can see that this is probably not very close to your own account because there's a lot of reviews happening here, not just 5 to 7%. And then you can add more and more layers and can actually really see what are we reviewing, what are we not reviewing, and how is the mashup of our tickets when it comes to CSAT, when it comes to complexity, when it comes to language, when it comes to anything that can be actually analyzed on the conversation level. So this is great if you want to get like a good representation of all the tickets that you have, because the problems with reviews is usually you don't want to review all tickets. And you don't want to review a random example of tickets, and you don't want to get the same proportion of tickets to review than what you have in real. You want to review meaningful conversations. And this is a great way to dig deeper and find meaningful conversations. You'll see on the side the tickets, like depending on where you click in, the ticket list on the side, which we here have conveniently hidden because of privacy reasons. On the side will change depending on what you select. On the agent part, because this is, if you are a team lead and you're interested in agents, then the agent sunburst, which is the one on the right, is actually interesting. Here you can not choose individual agents, but rather you can analyze the conversations done by your agents based on which volumes are agents working with, what is the CSAT that they have in general, what kind of sentiments are they working with. And here I'm saying working with because the agent is not necessarily the one who has sparked the sentiments specifically of the first interaction. And that way you can exactly dig deep what are the kind of tickets that you actually want to review for the agent. So it might be that you're looking at volume and you see that one agent has lots of volume and another one has not a lot of volume. Maybe they are a specialist, maybe they had a lot of AFK, a vacation, maybe there are a million reasons. So you want to make sure that you're also reviewing from this person some of the tickets. And like by digging deeper, you can actually figure out who needs more reviews. This is a very visual and a very like it's a tool to play around with. Like I can give you a step-by-step guide on exactly what you're going to find, and you're going to start digging in and slicing and dicing, and you'll find things that I would never have thought of. So once this is activated in your account, play around with it. Look, how do agents differ in terms of how many tickets they answer? How do they differ in terms of how complex these tickets are? Maybe somebody who does a lot of tickets actually has a much lower complexity amount. Like these things, you can easily see them with here with these charts. On the agents chart, can you click down to can you show me the different options again, Chris? Yeah, and maybe put can you, something here is unchecked, no? Because I only see one out of, can you click OK on everything on the conversation chart so that we have actually all the conversations on both sides? Because the agent chart actually gets its numbers from the other one. And then here we can see, then now if you put volume is the first one. So you read this from the inner side out. You look at like how it's what are the tiers in terms of volume, and then you can further subdivide this if you have enough agents into, for example, complexity, so that you can see for each volume how many complexity filters are in there. You can also reorder the direct filters. Maybe you are first and foremost interested in complexity and not in volume, so you can simply drag and drop those around and then it will reorder. And yeah, this is the one feature where like you have to play with this. Like put 15 minutes into your calendar and just click around and see what the results are. And it's mind-boggling. Like every time I play around with these, I learn something new about our own customer team.
Yep, I just learned new stuff just now. Thank you. We also have an article here as well, which you can click on. This is what I'm seeing here. That will take you to the knowledge base article.
Yeah, we are very aware that many people see the sunburst charts for the first time in their lives when they're going into this. So we have made sure that there's a lot of documentation and ideas on how you can look this. And we're actually working on an article at the moment where we can present like typical use cases. Like if I want to find out this, how would I go? How would I do that? Because very often if you have like a couple of examples, it's much easier to then invent your own future.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much. That is the new professional features. The professional features I wanted to talk about. We just have one little bonus before we go into the questions, the Q&A session. We released something today, which I know a lot of people have been asking for, and we released it today just in time for this webinar, so we could show it off to you. And it's something very simple but very helpful. We now allow you to compare workspaces. So before, if you're not aware, before in Klaus, you could only look, if you had your team separated into different workspaces, then you could only look at one workspace or the other workspace. Now you can look at all workspaces together, so you can see an aggregate. So you can say, okay, I have two teams. I have the webinar team and I have the Wildcats team, and I can see what the overall score was for them both. I can compare what their scores were, look at per category and monthly change and everything per workspace in one dashboard. You can also, if you have 10 workspaces and you want to compare 4 of them, you can just click the 4 names, the 4 workspaces you want to look at. as well. So little bonus for you, that's been enabled for everybody that's not on the professional plan. You should already see it, and if you don't, just refresh the page and it should be available for you.
Yeah, it was launched literally today, right before this
Yep.
webinar. So a refresh might be in order.
Okay, well, that is it for the features. I know there's been a lot of questions, so I'm just going to stop the sharing. Okay, it says I have an issue with my internet connection. I don't think so. There we go.
There we go.
Sorry. All right, so we'll basically go through these questions. If we can't get to them all, we have 15 minutes left. If we can't get through them all, we'll follow up by email. And yeah, we'll
Just
start.
wanted to add a disclaimer that whatever Chris and Valentina says is the truth, and whatever I say is subject to clarification.
We can mute. I've got the mute button here if you're wrong. So the first question, Remy says, will this session be recorded? Yes, it will be sent to you automatically as well. A link where you can watch the call and you can send it to other people. Oh, Martin answered that one. Martin's been answering all of these.
Yeah. What happens when the chat tick is in a
realize.
different language? Indeed, for now, we're skipping it. The algorithm ignores and doesn't assign positive or negative to it because the algorithm doesn't know. But we're going to add more languages early next year. So, and Spanish is definitely on the short list. So if you ask for Croatian, I would say maybe not. But I know that like Spanish is on the list. So this will come at some point. Is it possible to assign self-reviews for agents on a weekly recurring basis? I don't think that's possible at the moment.
Pages on a weekly recurring basis.
Can you assign self-reviews, agents to agents?
No, I don't believe so. But Mark, I think we've been chatting about this. I'll follow up on the chat we have open about it. We can talk about it, put in a feature request if not. And
every time somebody writes something, my chat goes to the end.
Yeah.
Roll back.
Okay, Sophie's very excited to kill the spreadsheet that they use to accomplish this.
Oh, this is music in my ears.
Great.
I love killing when people kill spreadsheets.
This is why we're here.
What if the ticket isn't reviewable content? How does the system choose? Can it tell how much any one person has participated?
This, from the timestamp, I would say that was when we were talking about complexity filter.
Or assignments?
That's assignments.
No, assignment. Okay.
So I think, and this is where feel free to correct me if I get something wrong, but I think you can define like the sort of standard filter conditions, right?
Mm-hmm. And the person can also skip. Like if there's a ticket that's just not reviewable, you can like delete it, and then it will be replenished with another ticket that has the same rules, basically.
Yeah, but like the regular filter conditions, those are all available for defining the assignment, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like anything that you can define in Zendesk, for example, you will also be able to define there. So you can determine the like how many responses in a ticket at least or at most, and all those things are still available.
Basically, it's bringing the filters because before you would tell your reviewers, like, oh, this is the filter that you have to go into, and then you do 10 tickets or whatever. You can now put this into the assignments, and then it's just automatically, and you have like one step less for your reviewers.
Mm-hmm.
Next question is it possible to change the number of tickets per each agent in an assignment? For example, for new starters in the support team, we assign 6 tickets, but for tenured, we assign 4 tickets. Would we need to create 2 separate assignments? For now, yes. And I say for now, because this is going to iterate and improve as we get feedback like this, for example.
And then there's some discussion about Martin's doorbell. I think it was Martin's doorbell, right? Someone really wanted to come in.
No, it was my doorbell.
Was it your doorbell?
It was a very insisting Amazon person.
So typical.
Now we need to do the unboxing live.
Yeah.
Yeah, the unboxing. I can do the unboxing very.
I remember when I had a. Sorry. Go on. Oh, you actually got the package?
Yeah, because he wasn't going anywhere, and then he started to scream in Spanish. He was like, "Miss Turner, I am here."
Oh my god!
This is this for my kids.
Excellent.
Right.
I would wear that.
They chose it themselves. I'm not going to question their fashion choices just yet. Yeah, quizzes for now. So this is literally the first iteration of quizzes. And again, there will be more iterations. So for now, it's multiple choice is the only option. We are going to add more option in the future. There is a lot of discussion about written responses because, as Taylor very clear says, it's text answers is really difficult to quantify. So there might be coming something. I'm not going to promise anything here because we'll see where we go with this quizzes thing. So play around with this. Tell us what was really good. Tell us what could be improved. Tell us what you've seen elsewhere that you really absolutely love and would love to see in there. And we're going to take this into account because we very much want to continue developing this with you and not just in our little corner. So every feedback is very welcome.
100%. And the quizzes feature is maybe slightly different from all the other stuff because we kind of came up with it ourselves because it seemed like something that would fit in with the rest of it. And some of us, well, me and Chris, we used to do quizzes when we were a support team at another company. So like any kind of feedback on quizzes or anything else really from this webinar is even more welcome than usual because these are brand new things. And the more feedback you give to us on those, the more likely it is that we will quickly develop into something that you will also want to and be able to use.
Yes, there are some questions there as well, which I'm not sure what they're referring to, but I'm going to follow up with the individual people.
Or you can maybe
already.
I think I kept track more or less. Which one are you looking at?
Okay. Yeah, there's one that I need to check though as well. Something. Okay. But if you don't get your question answered, I'll come. If I have your email, I will come directly to answer in a private conversation.
Yeah, and Martin also added some videos with cats, but they are about features. So, is the application measuring review time? No, that is not something that we are doing yet. Might be something that we might add in the future.
We have a new question as well.
Is there a chance of getting a filter sometime soon where we can filter by amount of individual agent participation instead of there are 5 responses in general, having it specified that there are 5 responses in this particular conversation by the agents selected? So there is not a specific filter for this, but on the Sunburst charts, you could filter first by complexity, because complex filters are always the long conversations usually correlate with complexity. So you first filter you take the complexity and then you take the agents, because the agent Sunburst does not look at the assignee. It actually understands as agents the agent who has had most interactions within this ticket. So if you're looking for complex conversations and then look at the agents, then you actually have people that have had a lot of these complex conversations. And it ends up being a filter anyway, because then on the side you have all the conversations where this agent was the most active participant.
Okay, we have 5 more minutes. If anybody else wants to drop some questions in there. I see someone's typing.
Otherwise, I'm going to show you the second thing my kids chose.
Please do.
Now you know I have twins, a boy and a girl, because of course she needed the pink version.
It does remind me of one very important call I had with a company which is on this call. And I just moved into a new house and ordered a new fridge and a sofa, and none of it turned up on time. All of it turned up on this one call at the same time. And I had about 8 people in my house while I was trying to keep a straight face and tried to not be distracted. It was like a slapstick comedy. Don't know if the people can remember that, the people on this call. Okay, someone was typing but isn't anymore. So I think that's everything. As I said, we have the live chat. You know where the live chat is. It's on the website, or it's in the question mark in the black toolbar. You can open a live chat there. You can book a call from there. We're also going to send out an email with the recording, with how you can sign up for just upgrade your current existing account to a professional trial, which will last until the end of the year. So that's super simple. It'll tell you that in the email. And anybody who's not yet a Klaus customer who's on this call, it'll also tell you how to sign up for a free trial, the first free trial.
Yeah.
And I hope it was interesting.
Yeah, and for those that didn't get like a final answer for the questions, we will follow up as soon as we go and confirm those. And yeah, as mentioned, easiest way to check out all of the above is, and if you are not on the professional yet, go to your subscription as an admin, upgrade. It's free until the end of the year. No strings attached.
Perfect. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming. We are right on time. My German DNA is very, very happy. And I hope to see you soon on Klaus as professional users.
All right. Thank you. Have a nice evening.
Bye, everyone.
Afternoon. Bye.
Bye.